meant by order holds? Okay. For example, uh, yesterday Pawan was mentioning about one hold type called as remorse hold. What is meant by remorse hold? Okay. For example, I have placed an order, and that particular order has to be processed. Like the minute I place order, it should start processing. But there is a concept called as remorse hold, which means that there will be certain time period. I mean, like some 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 1 hour. It depends upon the project to project. You can decide on how much time you want to have it. So after placing the order, they will give certain time period, and within that particular time period, if you want to do any modifications on the order, you can do it. So until that particular modifications is being done, this particular order will not be processed by any of the agent. Basically, this particular order will not be processed for 1 hour until the remorse hold is removed from the order. So I placed an order, a remorse hold is applied on it. Remorse hold will be removed only after 1 hour. So until this 1 hour, they have given a window for me to do the modification. And once the 1 hour is completed, they will just remove the hold and the order will get processed. So this is one of an concept which Pawan has mentioned, and even I have seen in one of the project called as remorse hold. There is something called as fraud check hold. What is meant by fraud check hold? Whenever an order is placed, they will apply this particular fraud hold, and we will make a call to fraud check system. There are certain external systems which will help us in understanding whether that particular order is a fraud order or not. So we will put the order on hold, and we will make a call to that particular external system. We will get the response back from them, and if the response is positive, we will process the order. If the response is not negative, or if they say that the order is a fraud order, we will leave the order in fraud check hold itself, or sometimes we will even cancel the order, and that particular order will not be processed. And there is something called as payment failure hold, which is nothing but anytime any payment gets failed, you can use this kind of hold. So basically, these are all just the examples of hold. It's not that these are the types of holds, these are the examples of hold. I can have any kind of order holds on my order. Like for example, I have like digital order. Okay. So we are making a call to that particular external system to process the digital order. Or else let us not take that. Let us take dropship hold. Let us assume. Okay. So as we know that dropship is something, Amazon will take the order, and they will take the order. They will give the order to the vendor system, and vendor system has to fulfill my order. So when Amazon takes the order, they can put this particular dropship hold on the order, and they can wait for that particular vendor to process it. If the vendor is processing, then they can remove the hold. If the vendor is not processing, then they leave the hold as it is. So these are all just the examples of hold. Okay. So now let us see how exactly the hold can be applied. What are all the different kinds of holds can be applied? How exactly holds has to be configured? All those things. What is the mechanism of holds, and what are all the ways we can apply hold? What are all the ways we can resolve the hold? All those things we will see. Getting guys, like what is meant by order holds? If somebody is not following or somebody is not understanding, or if you have questions on something, please raise. The order holds will be configured under the distributed order management, which will be present in the application platform. That is our configurator, whatever we call. Yeah. So we have the configurator open. So under that we have applications, distributed order management, and as we all know, we have to go for that particular enterprise. So what is my enterprise? If I'll just click here, my enterprise is matrix. What happened? What happened? Don't say me this yesterday you were working. DOM. We'll just go for matrix because matrix is our organization. So you can have the configurations done at that particular organization or enterprise level. So I'm just going for matrix, and under matrix, like you can go on which particular order flow you want to apply the hold. So here I wanted to apply the hold on the sales order. So under sales order fulfillment, so this is the place where we have seen yesterday about the order modification rules configuration. Here you have something called as hold types. So order holds can be applied on order level as well as order line level. What is meant by order level and what is meant by order line level? So whenever you open any order, if you remember guys, like we have seen two things. The one is at the order, the entire Okay, I'll just show you. Test Jan. So this is the order. I mean, like basically at the on the entire order. Like for example, I have one order, okay, and in that order I have four lines. Okay, one line is for some shoes, one line is for some phone, one line is for some what you call phone back cover, one line is for TV. So I have like more number of order lines. In that case, what has happened is one particular order line is having some issue. Like let us assume it is not having uh, proper inventory. Okay, I want to put that particular order line on hold, and the rest three lines I want to have it processed. So in those kind of scenario, you can place order only on one particular order line also, or you can place the order on the entire order also. So that is where I was trying to mention that you can have hold types on the order level, or you can have it on the order line level. Okay, what are all the holds you want to have it on the order line level? You have to configure it here. What are all the hold types you want to have it on the order? You have to create it here. So let us see what is one by one. I'm just removing guys. I'll just help you guys understanding. I'm just disabling every other hold type, and I'll show you guys one by one. There is nothing here. There is nothing here. So let me delete this. Okay. So now like there is no hold active. So I'll just what I'll do. I'll go and create an order. You can see this particular order where once the order is created, there is a hold applied on this particular order. Right, like that is digital hold and some address verification hold is applied. So now let us see. I am creating one more order. So let us check what has happened on this particular order. Okay, so now you can see there is no hold created. Let us assume you have joined a project recently and that particular client is asking you can you please apply a hold on the order once the order is created, and we can give a time of like 15 minutes or 1 hour, and we can name that particular hold as a remorse hold, or else I can say we can have it as modification hold. You can name whatever you want, but the functionality is that you have to wait for orders to be processed for 15 minutes, 1 hour, or whatever time you want. So for that, you can come here, you can create a new hold. Let us assume the hold type is modification hold. Let us assume like that. Okay, so here we have many options. What is the option? Hold created automatically. So when you want to have the order, sorry, hold getting created on draft order creation, on draft order confirmation, on order creation. So currently, whatever the functionality we want to implement, it is on order creation. Okay. So like on the other options, I'll come back again. So hold resolution. Who has to resolve the hold? On this also I'll come back again. Hold effects. On this also I'll come back again. Okay. So right now we have just created a hold type. Okay. Which will be created automatically on order creation. Okay, so let us go and create one more order. I've created an order now. So you can see now the hold is created on this particular order. So what we can do, we will have this hold applied on this particular order for half an hour or 1 hour based on whatever the time period client has requested for. And in that meantime, we will not process this particular order, and you can do any modification on this particular order. Okay, so there is a different concept called as order monitoring rules in Sterling. Okay, so what is this order monitoring rules will do? We can configure something like any order on any particular status if it is present for so and so time. If it is present for like xyz minutes, we can do some event on it. So this is a generic statement what I have given. For example, how can we use this particular order monitoring rules on resolving the hold? So any order which is on modification hold for 30 minutes, we can resolve the hold. Okay. So I will like we will go in deep about order monitoring rules in the later part of our session, but that is how the hold will be resolved according to the client requirement. Okay. Now, one more question. How to stop order getting processed? Like, okay, you have applied the hold, but will it stop the order to be processed? No, you have to do certain restrictions on the hold in order to stop the order to be processed. So where can you do that? So whenever you create a hold, you have something called as hold effects. What is meant by this hold effects? The following transactions will be stopped from processing orders on the hold. So basically, you can add any of the transaction, and those transactions will not process the orders on this hold. For example, order is in created status. After created status, it will be something called as scheduled. Okay. So when the order is processing from created to scheduled, there is a transaction which is responsible for doing this job. That particular transaction is scheduled transaction or schedule order transaction. So if I select something like this, whenever the order is on this particular modification hold, this particular transaction will not process the order. So that means that an order is created, you have applied modification hold on top of it, and you are restricting schedule order transaction to process this order. What will happen? Unless that particular hold is resolved, schedule order transaction will not pick this order, and it will never move to scheduled status. So what are we doing here? We are restricting the schedule order transaction to pick any orders which are on modification hold. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, brother.
And there is one more restriction. The following modifications are not allowed for orders on this hold. So you kept order on any of the hold. Like for example, now you have kept order on modification hold, and you don't want the people to modify. Like for example, they should not be able to add a new line because they have already created. So I'm not allowing them to add a new line, they can do any other modification. So what you can do, you can come here, you can apply anything whatever you want, any restriction you want to do, you can do it. For example, as we just discussed, I'll tell add line. So what will happen, whenever the order is placed on modification hold, the following modifications are not allowed for orders on this hold. That means that add line will not be allowed as a modification when the order is on modification hold. So let us try that. Like, as that is an old order, we'll not be able to. So I'll create a new order. Okay, or else I should be able to, I guess. Let me see. Okay, now only you can see the order line plus button is gone. Okay, so that is the control what you will have under hold effects. Any doubts on the hold effects? Guys, I want you guys to talk.
No
If
further
you're not
from me.
talking, I'll not be understanding if you are understanding it. Okay, great. So now coming to hold resolution. So well and good, you are applying the hold on top of it. Okay. One way of resolving the hold is, as I mentioned, we can have something called as order monitoring rules, and we can tell any order on a particular status, if it is present for so and so minutes, we can resolve the hold. That is one way of doing it. So let us assume, like they have resolved this hold. Okay, so this particular order can be processed. But there is one more, what do you call that, kind of an order hold in my project. Okay, what is that? That is called as, let us assume, address check hold. Okay, so you placed an order, and first on your order, it will be modification hold, as we just discussed. Okay, and once the modification hold is completed, you want to do address check. What is meant by address check hold? I just named it as address check, like it can be any kind of a name. As I mentioned, right, in general this hold is called as remorse hold, but I am calling it as modification hold. It's up to us, whatever the name you want to give, you can keep. So I want to know whether the address of that particular person is a valid address or not. So what I can do, I can put an address check hold, and once I put an address check hold, I can have a transaction which will invoke some external address check system with the address provided by the user. And if the address is a proper address, we can process the order. If the address is not a proper address, you can put the order on hold itself. So let us assume, like I'll create a new address check. Okay, so now what I will do, I'll not create this particular order on creation. What I'll do, I'll create this hold once the first hold, what is the first hold, modification hold, is resolved. So what I'll do, on resolution of modification hold. Okay, so on resolution of modification hold, I'll create address check hold. And also, if you want to do one more thing, you can also do something like this. Like modification hold is there, and okay, I'll show you one by one. So I'm just putting on resolution of modification hold. I'm saving it. Okay, so let us create a, okay, order is already created, test jan 57. So you can see I am resolving the modification hold. You can see a new hold is getting created, that is address check hold. So like this also you can play with the hold. Like once one hold is resolved, you can put one more hold for a different functionality. and once this is resolved, you can do one more, something like that. You can keep on doing. For example, you have kept the address check hold, okay, and somebody has, after resolving the address check hold, somebody has again modified the address. So if somebody has modified the address again, you have to again do the address check. So in those kind of scenarios, you can use this particular option when the following modifications are performed. So you can go and, like for example, change bill to address, okay, and change ship to address. So whenever any change happen on a bill to address and ship to address, I can apply this address check hold again. So now let us go and modify the address and see what happens. So I'm just modifying the ship to address. You can see hold is applied. Why I am applying this hold? Because it is an address check hold. Somebody has modified the address. Again, the new address has to be verified with the external address check system whether that particular address is a correct address or not. Okay. So who will check and who will resolve the hold is the next question. So when you go to address check hold, you have something called as hold resolution. The following time trigger transaction will process the created hold. So basically, this is an hold which is in created status. So as I mentioned, you can create a transaction which will make call to external system and do the address check, and it will resolve the hold if the address is a proper address. You can have one hold called as address verification, sorry, you can have one transaction called as address verification transaction, and that particular transaction will process the holds, okay. And if there are, like for example, for some reason it is rejected, okay, now the hold is in rejected status, you can have some other transaction, or else let us assume fraud check or any transaction. You can have any transaction, and that transaction will resolve the rejected holds, okay. And for some reason you are canceling this particular order, you can have can resolve on cancel. So basically, like when order is getting cancelled, you don't have to have the hold on top of it. So I'm just canceling the order. Hmm. Okay, it is rejected, so only it has not gone, but it should go if it is not rejected, okay. And hold resolved manually. If, like, I have shown you one particular resolution, right guys? Like I clicked on action and I'm choosing resolve or reject. So who all can do that resolution? Any user can perform, or user belonging to certain group. Like as I mentioned, right, we can control the access to certain things. Like if you remember on our first or second session, I was mentioning, if somebody has access to only this we can give, somebody has access to only this we can give, somebody has read only access, somebody has write access, all those things can be controlled by having these groups. So for example, my user is present in CSR group, so I can choose that CSR group. Only the people who are belonging to this group can resolve this hold. Okay, is that clear, guys? We have covered hold effects and hold resolutions, everything.
Yes, Pradeep.
Great. And here also, for example, I don't want to have the address check hold for all the orders. I want to have for only like certain kind of orders. You can mention that particular condition, and you can what you call control the hold creation. Okay, and hold creation also by any user or by certain group you can control. Okay, so this is pretty much on the hold, guys. and the same thing will replicate in order line hold. So if you go to order line, you can see everything will be same, but the only difference would be for all order lines or only for order lines which are satisfying. So here if you see, it is for
Uh,
orders, but here it is order lines.
Pradeep, how can we give the time? Means, like so and so period that hole will be active, and after that, if we no one resolve that, it will directly reject
Resolve.
or
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. I'll show you guys that, but it is altogether a different concept. But anyway, I'll show you. For example, we want the order to be resolved in some half an hour. Okay. So what we have to do is under application platform process modeling. So this is the place where like we have seen, right, all our services and all that hello world program and all. So wherever your order is present, like if my order is a sales order, you have to go to that particular order fulfillment, and you will have sales order pipeline. Pipeline is nothing but an order flows, how an order has to be flowed, you can decide. Okay. Here you have something called as order monitoring rules. So maybe Pawan, like it might be helpful for you to understand, and you can go to your project today and you can select that particular pipeline. You can click
okay,
on this button. You will see list of monitoring rules here. Okay,
okay,
let us create one monitoring rule. So first of all, okay, let me has been in a status. Okay, so I'll just show you. If order has been in, you can select on any status. Okay, like for example, let us assume on created status for zero point 0.5 hours. Okay, elapsed hours, then raise any event. Like you can configure, like what you call, there is lot more configuration needed here. We will discuss in our upcoming sessions. Okay, let me see that is there or not. If that is not there, I'll add it. Okay, I'm adding it. Order monitoring rules and its configurations. Okay, so basically this is the place where you will have it. Like if order has been in so and so status for so and so minutes of or hours of time, then you can do whatever you want. So here we can configure. Like I'll show you guys how this happens as we have added it here. Okay.
okay, okay.
Yes, guys. Like anything on the order hold types. Okay, that's pretty great. So now coming to our next thing is applying XSLT and call get organization hierarchy API. One second, guys. Integration server column pipeline has gone down. Okay. Okay, okay, that should be fine. The next thing is applying XSLT. Okay, XSLT is an component in Sterling. Like for example, okay, before I go a little more in deeper, do you guys know what is meant by XSL transformation? You are
We
also.
transform that XML template, right?
Yes. So basically, XSL transformation is nothing but it will transform the XML. Okay, basically it is an XSL which will transform the XML from one format to other format. Okay, so I'll show you one or two sample examples before we jump into the what you call exact implementation. Accessibility transformation online. Try this. This is so big actually. We can have something very small. Okay, this and all is too much. Let us not go till there. Just need a simple example. And okay, everything is too big. Let us take our example only. Okay. So we have an API called as Get Organization Hierarchy. This API is just an example we have taken. So the input to this particular API is expected as something like this. Okay, it is expecting organization code, organization key, and some resource identifier. Or else you can directly give just organization code. So here my organization code is matrix. Okay, so I'll just use that. I'll invoke that particular get organization hierarchy. You can see I'm getting every detail. For example, whenever the external system, okay, external system, they will call matrix as an enterprise code. They will not call matrix as an organization code. Let us assume they are sending something like this to us. Like they don't have a concept of organization. They have a concept of enterprise. Or else to make it more simple, I'll call it as company. Okay, so they call it as a company and they want all the details of this company. So to get all the details of a company, we basically use this particular API called as Get Organization Hierarchy. So Get Organization Hierarchy is an API, okay, which is used to get the attributes of an organization and all its sub organization. So here, if you see, we are getting matrix. It's an organization, and we are getting all its sub organization, that is matrix B, matrix warehouse 1, warehouse 2, matrix R, matrix store 1 2 3. You guys remember, like we have seen all this in one of our call where we are showing the pictorial representation of the matrix organization, right? So in order to get details of any organization, we use get organization hierarchy. So the external system, right? They call it as company and they want to know the details of matrix. So they are trying to invoke our get organization hierarchy API with this input. That is company code and all. You can see it is an invalid data. Organization element must be passed. Right, this is the error it is throwing. So in order to get a proper response, what we should do, we have to convert this XML, we have to convert this XML into this format before we invoke get organization hierarchy. Okay, so how can we convert this format of XML into this format of XML? Using accessibility. Okay, whenever you have created a hello world program, sorry, So whenever you have created a hello world program, we have used this API component. Under that, in the same components, we have something called as XSL translator. So this particular XSL translator will help in translating or transforming any format of XML into a different format of XML as required. Now, how can we do that? What are the steps we have to follow? So for that, we have to create an XSL file which helps in transforming the XML from one format to other format, and we have to include that particular XSL in our configuration, give that particular XSL name, like how we are giving the class name for that particular Java class. The same way for XSL also we have to give that particular XSL name, and it would help us in transforming the data from one format of XSL to other format of XSL. So here, okay, I'll not have that here. C OMS extensions global entities or global XSL. I'll explain you guys. Don't worry about this folder and all. I'll tell you what it is. So this is a sample XSL. So now what is happening here? Whatever the input I am getting, okay, we are making it as an organization code. Okay, for example, if the external system is sending it as an company code, so what can be our XSL? You have to read this particular value and put that value in this particular organization code place. Okay, so what are we doing here? We are having a dollar organization code. So dollar organization code is nothing but it's a variable. So variable name is organization code, from where it is taking from enterprise and enterprise code. So instead of that, I'll use company and company code. So with this, what happens? Whenever this XML is coming, we are creating a variable called as organization code, reading the organization code value from company code XPath. Okay, that will be matrix. And that value of that particular variable, we are putting it in the XML. Organization code and matrix. I'll show you how exactly it works. So this is just an online tool which will help us in understanding. So what is our input? This is our input. So I'm giving the XML here. And what is our XSL? This is our XSL. So I'm putting the XSL here. I'll just click on transform. You can see it is transformed to organization code matrix. Guys, are you getting it?
Yeah, yes, Pradeep.
I want to
Yes.
hear from others. Noor. Okay. Noor, any doubt, Noor? Like, let me know. Like, we can reiterate the things. Yeah, like I was just asking, like, any doubts on whatever we have discussed so far. Okay, sure. No worries. Yeah. So this is a very simple example, whatever we have given here. But likewise, you can play with this particular XSL however you want. Like in order to transform the XML from one format to other format, you can use this particular XSL. and you can play with it. And now coming to our Sterling. So here whatever we have seen is just an example how exactly an XSL works. So now coming to Sterling. So we have a service called as XSL test. I'll just copy this and just I'll create a new one. So I'm creating a new, okay. We have this test 2024. I'll create here. So I'll have it as XSL 2024 in a synchronous mode. So what are we going to do here? We are going to use the XSL component. Okay. So I have the XSL ready. This is my XSL. Okay. So what can be done? Now, how can I incorporate this particular change into my Sterling order management system? Like, for example, you have written a code. Okay. And in order to incorporate this change into your Sterling order management system, what we would do, we would right click, we would export it as an jar file, right? And then we will do a build and deployment and all stuff. The same way, if it is an XSL change, under our OMS folder, we have something called as extensions. Under extensions, you will have something called as global, under global, template, under template XSL. So in this particular place, you have to put your XSL document. So my XSL, you can see this is my XSL. Whenever we are getting enterprise code, it will take the value and put it in organization code. And after placing this particular matrix, sorry, XSL here in this particular folder structure, we have to do resource build as well as normal build and deployment in order to have the changes reflected. Once the changes are reflected, you can directly use that like how we were using the hello world program. So here in the XML XSL name, we will just give global template XSL map enterprise.xsl. So you see that global template XSL map enterprise.xsl. So after, okay, I'll just first let us see this simple thing, then we will go back to our original thing. So if I'm going to our API tester and my input will be enterprise. Why I'm entering enterprise? Because in this code they are using enterprise and enterprise code. So like this, and I'm invoking what? It's a service. What is my service name? XSL 2024. So XSL 02. So you can see it has transformed the data into organization code. Okay. So now with this particular data, I can invoke my required API, right? So what I'll do, I'll invoke an API. So what is the API name? I want it as an get organization hierarchy. Get organization hierarchy. I'll save it. I'll refresh it. I'll invoke the same XSL 2024 again. So now you can see we are getting the entire details of that particular organization. Okay. So for example, there is one more component I want to show you guys today. So in general, we get a request from external system, we get response from external system, or even we have some internal systems where we are invoking our own service, we are invoking our own API and all. If I want to store that particular data into my database, there is a component called as database. Okay, so what we can do, we can, like for example, I want to store output of this particular organization hierarchy into my database. So what I can do, I have to choose that particular database. I have to give this particular connection, and here it will have two things: YFS export, YFS import. These are the two tables, right? You can go to your ERD. Here you can see what is meant by YFS export. You can see this table is used as an interface table to publish and read data from or to an external system. So basically you can use this particular table to store the data or to read the data from or to an external system. So like you are getting some response or request from external system, and you can store that particular data here. Okay, so now let us see what is meant by YFS import table. This table is used to interface to publish or read data to an from or to an external system. So this is also more or less same. Okay, so let us save it and refresh this. Now what I'll do, I'll invoke my same API once again, XSL 2024. Now you can see I just got API success, because what happened, I, it got transformed. It went to this particular API. Then output of this API is stored in the database. So now let us go and check in the database. So here in select star from YFS export. Okay. So in this table, what is the column name we have to see? Let us see the column name. It will be something called as flow name. So there is a column name called as flow name. That is the service that has published the data. So here my service is XSL 2024. So what will be my query? Where flow name is equal to XSL 2024. I run it. You can see the data has got created. You can see the XML, whatever the XML that is coming as output of organization hierarchy. Okay, so likewise, for example, after getting the data out of this particular API, you want to push it into a JMS queue. That also you can do. You can include that particular JMS queue and you can put it there. Right. Likewise, we can use all these components for different things, which we will talk tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll also like what we call talk on pipelines. I mean, like basically we all know that we are going to application platform and then we are going to process modeling, but what is this, what are these things, what is in each of these, what is this pipeline, under pipeline, what all the these things we have, what is this, what are these things, all those things we will discuss tomorrow. Okay, so like once you have this particular information, when we can, then we can start continuing on the next steps, like how to create one of the transaction, how to create this listener, how to create this condition. Okay, and like what are all these statuses, transactions, all those things we have in our list. Like for example, the next thing we have in our list is conditions. So whatever these rhombus thing, right? Those are called as condition. After that, you have user exit implementation. After that, action or event. This is called as action. Okay. Under every transaction, you will have some event. These are called as events. So and after that, integration servers you have, and task queue and non-task queue transactions. So whatever you have, these are called as transactions. So first, tomorrow I'll try to give an overview of everything. Then we will go on step by step. Is that clear, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, Pradeep.
Okay. Yeah. That's all I have.
Give some other some small exercise for it so that we will work on it. Right.
Sure, Pavan. Like what I'll do today, what you call like how we will do that case study message, right? I mean, like module,
Yeah.
right? I'll
Yeah.
do it. But in general, what we will do, we will do. I'll just send the same thing what we have discussed so that you can try it out. But today on the XSL thing, now I'll try to provide a different kind of an exercise which you guys can try. Okay. I'll
Okay.
put whatever I have explained and I'll put an extra question which you guys can try out. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay, yeah. That's all I have, guys. And I want Noor to stay back. Like I'm requesting one of my senior to join this call, and he will try to help us in the issue what Noor is facing.
Okay. Thanks for it.
Okay, thank you, Pradeep.
Thank you, guys. Uh, Noor, Noor, am I audible? Uh, Noor looks like basically he's from US, so looks like he's in some meeting. He's telling like we'll join in 30 minutes. Please share the link. So is that fine for you if we join at 8:30 the same link? Okay. Yeah. Like what you call I'm sharing the what you call link of this particular meeting to him right away. Okay. And I'll tell him that we will connect at 8:30. Okay. Yeah, just sharing it. Sorry. Come on. Why is it not loading? Yeah, it loaded. Yeah, Noor, I have sent him. We will join in next 30 minutes. I have requested Noor also to join back in 30 minutes. Okay. So I'll ping you, Noor, over WhatsApp. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Noor.